Daf Yomi, tractate, Chullin 16b, top of the page. Actually, the first two words to start this is Boy Rava, which is actually the last two words of 16a. So 16a, Boy Rava, Rava raises a dilemma. Now 16b, top of the page with the words Talush, Ulibasof Chibro Inyan Shchita Mayim. In the case of a blade that was detached, and ultimately one attached it, with regard to slaughter, what is the halacha? Tashma hayatsoyo yoitzim min hakoisel oy shaya kone oy lemeilo v'shochat bo ishchitas lepsulo. The Gemara suggests, coming here, a proof from Braita, if there was a flint emerging from a wall or a reed arising from the ground on its own, and he slaughtered it, was slaughtered with it, his slaughter is not valid, since the wall itself was made from stones that were detached and subsequently reattached. The slaughter is not valid. The Gemara rejects that proof. What are we dealing with here? We are dealing with the case of the wall of a cave that was always attached. The language of the Braita is also precise in support of that explanation, as the Tana teaches the case of the flint emerging from a wall juxtaposed to, and therefore similar to the case of a reed arising from the ground on its own, which was also always attached. The Gemara affirms, indeed, learn from this that this is the case. Toshima. No, it's sakin bakoisel v'shachat bosh chitazik yishera sh'ani sakin d'levatale. The Gemara suggests, coming here, a proof from a Braita. If one embedded a knife in a wall and slaughtered with it, his slaughter is valid. The knife was detached and then reattached, and the slaughter is valid. The Gemara rejects the proof. The reason that the slaughter is valid is that the knife is different, as he does not subsume it to the wall. Toshima. The Gemara suggests, coming here, a proof from an earlier point in that Braita. If one slaughtered with an item that is attached to the ground, his slaughter is valid. This is the case where it was detached and then attached. And later in the Braita case is cited where the blade was always attached and the slaughter is not valid. The Gemara rejects the proof. Perhaps the phrase that follows in the Braita, if one embedded a knife in a wall, is explaining the previous case, and accordingly, what is the meaning of attached to the ground? It is in the case of a knife, as he does not subsume it to the wall. But if he embedded a flint in a wall and slaughtered with it, his slaughter would be valid. Therefore, there is no proof from this Braita. Omar Mar Natsaki Makois Vashachat Bashkita Sekeshera Omar Rav Anan Omar Shmuel Loishanu Shasakin Lamailo Hitzav Behem Lamato Avasakin Lamato Hitzav Behem Lamaila Khashin Shema Yidrois. The master said in the Braita, if one embedded a knife in a wall and slaughtered with it, his slaughter is valid. Rav Anan says that Shmuel says the Tana taught this halacha only in a case where the knife is above and the animal's neck is below, and he raises the animal's head and draws it back and forth on the blade. But in a case where the knife is below and the animal's neck is above, the slaughter is not valid because we are concerned lest he press the knife due to the weight of the animal, thereby cutting the sinamanim without drawing the knife back and forth, which invalidates the slaughter. The Gemara asks, but isn't it taught explicitly in the Braita, with any item that cuts one may slaughter, whether it with a blade that is attached to the ground, or the blade that is detached from the ground, whether the knife is below and the neck of the animal is above, or the knife is above and the neck of the animal is below. Amar Zvid. It's Tadin Kitani Tsaki Namato Savahim Lamalo. Pita Nushak Lamato Savahim Lamato Mehumar Pabama Beoifidi Khalil. Razvid said the Braita is taught disjunctively in the case where the knife is below and the neck of the animal is above. The slaughter is valid when the blade is detached. In the case where the knife is above and the neck of the animal is below, the slaughter is valid even when the blade is attached. Rav Papa said the Braita that teaches that one may slaughter even when the attached knife is below is referring to the slaughter of a bird, which is light, and there is no concern that the weight of the bird will cause the slaughterer to press the bird's neck onto the knife. Amar Rav Chiz, Amar Rav Yitzchak, Amar Lei, Amri Lamasin Satana, Chamish Dvarim Nemo Bechumis, Shel Kone, Ein Shachtim Bo, Ein Malim Bo, Ein Mechatchin Bo Basar, Ein Mechatzitzin Bo Shinayim, Ein Mekanchin Bo. Rav Chiz says that Rabbi Yitzchak says, and some say it was taught in a Braita, 5 matters were said with regard to the stalk of a reed, which is used for cutting due to its sharpness. One may neither slaughter with it, due to the concern that splinters will be separated and become embedded in the simanim, invalidating the slaughter, nor circumcise with it for the same reason, due to the potential danger, nor cut meat with it, lest splinters become embedded in the meat and endanger the one who eats it, nor pick one's teeth with it, lest he wound himself, nor wipe with it after relieving oneself. Why in the world would anyone even think of doing that? Unbelievable. You have to teach not to wipe with it with a sharp reed? I mean, okay, whatever. Ein shachtim ba Tanya. B'chol shoychtin b'im nisol b'im schuchis b'im b'chum yishel kone. Omad papa b'simon diagamo. The Braita continues. The Braita teaches one may neither slaughter with it. The Braita asks, but isn't it taught in another Braita with any sharp object one may slaughter an animal whether with a flint or with glass shards or with the stalk of a reed? Rav Papa said there the reference is to a specific type of reed that grows in a marsh, which becomes a smooth, hard surface when it dries. Rav Papa mechatech ba krive dagim dizigim. The Braita teaches nor cut meat with it. Rav Papa cuts with the stalk of a reed the innards of a fish, which are transparent, such that any splinters would be obvious. Rav Bar Huna cuts with the meat of a bird, which is soft and will not cause the stalk of the reed to splinter. Okay? Okay. Amar Rav Papa kinuach pi maka komnin. The Braita teaches nor one wipe with it after leaving oneself. The Gemara objects, derive that one may not wipe with it because the master said one who wipes with an object that is flammable, his lower teeth, the lower teeth, it's basically it's a saginar for the rectum that holds the intestines in place, fall out. His rectum will fall out. Oi. Rav Papa said in an explanation. Rav Papa said in an explanation. It's not funny, but just it's like so bizarre that it causes me to have a nervous laugh. Rav Papa said in an explanation. The reference in the Braita is not wiping after leaving oneself. Rather, we are speaking with regard to wiping the blood or dirt from an opening of a wound. Just gotta get through it. The Mishnah teaches all slaughter, that one may always slaughter. The Gemara interprets the phrase all slaughter to mean all animals are included in the midst of slaughter and even a bird. Rabbi Yishmael Omer lo ba katuv ela lehatir lehem basar ta'ava. With regard to the statement one may always slaughter, who is the Tana who taught this halacha? Rabbi said it is Rabbi Yishmael, as it is taught in the Braita. With regard to the verse, when the Lord your God shall expand your border as He has promised you, and you shall say, I will eat flesh. You may eat flesh with all the desire of your soul. Deuteronomy 12:20. Rabbi Yishmael says the verse comes only to permit consumption of the non-sacrificial meat of desire to the Jewish people. To the Jewish people. Shabbat Chila Nesar Lahem Basar Taiva Mishnishchet Oretz with the hand muscle time, as at the onset the meat of desire was forbidden to them, and anyone who wanted to eat meat would sacrifice the animal as an offering, and the priest sprinkled the blood. It was permitted for one to eat the meat. When they entered into Eretz Yisrael, the meat of desire was permitted for them, and they could slaughter and eat meat wherever they chose. Rabbah added, and now that the Jewish people were exiled, might one have thought that they returned to their initial prohibition. Therefore, we learned in the Mishnah, one may always slaughter non-sacrificial meat. Maski v'lo Yosef, Hai lo'ilem shakatin lo'ilem shakatin vo'ilem, mi boile vo'ilem niko my time in so mishum davi makar mishkan so my time ishtaro davi makar mishkan. Rav Yosef objects to this. If so, that this phrase "one may always slaughter" it's inappropriate. The Tana should have taught "one may always slaughter and eat," as the matter of permission primarily relates to kill and eat. Comes to mind. Kill and eat, slaughter and eat. One may always slaughter and eat, as the matter of permission primarily relates to eating the meat, not to slaughtering the animal. And furthermore, initially, what is the reason that the meat of desire was forbidden? It was because in the wilderness they were proximate to. If I had to slaughter an animal, I'd be a vegetarian or a vegan. It's just already slaughtered, so you're eating it. But I would, yeah. If I had to slaughter it myself, might be better. It was because in the wilderness they were. I eat meat now, but very prayerfully, thankfully. It was because in the wilderness they were proximate to the tabernacle and could partake of sacrificial meat from the table of God. And ultimately, what is the reason that the meat of desire was permitted? The reason was that in Eretz Yisrael they were distant from the tabernacle. Okay, stop here for now.